Hey everybody, so we want to welcome you to our first episode of the Limitless Podcast. It's been long awaited. First of all, my name is JoJo. This is my brother Vaughn.
Sup?
Okay. And Limitless Podcast, we talk about the things that matter to us. Fatherhood, sports, and anime. At the end of the day, those are the things that we both have in common. Those are the things that we hold nearest to our hearts, and we want to bring those conversations to you all.
This nigga stuttering.
Whatever. And we also want y'all to join in on the conversation as well. All right, so today we're going to talk about fatherhood, the overall tenet, and what that means to both of us individually. All right, let's get it started.
I mean, what it mean to you? I got problems. I got problems with fatherhood. I got problems. So I guess first question is, on the bare minimum, like what does fatherhood mean to you? Like just on a even keel, like before you dive into depths, what does it mean?
Man, in all honesty, I just think it means just being a teacher, in all honesty.
True.
I'm charged with the responsibility of whether it's a boy or a girl to, I kind of think of like of a gardener, he is pruning his flowers, just making sure they grow up the right way.
Don't cut your kids. But
don't cut your kids, of course. But I'm just saying, I just honestly, that's kind of how I think about it. And especially when I'm thinking about Asher, like there's just instances where I see how my dad raised me and my brother.
True. Yeah.
And I'm like, there's aspects of it that I want to take in, but then there's also aspects that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
I mean, yeah, you take bits and pieces. Like you can't be your parents.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
you can't be. As much as they helped groom and, deal with us, you can't be your parents. Like you have to be your own parent.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that you don't take things that they instilled in you and you instill it in your own children, because the foundation of it is essentially still the same.
Facts.
You want your child to be successful. You want your child to have a better life than what your parents provided you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it steps in at. Now, on the fatherhood aspect of it, for me and my son, it's a matter of there are certain things that I know that he's going to get into. And I'm not going to stop him from getting into those things. Yeah. Because I got into them. So it's like, I'm not going to stop you from doing it because I did it. Yeah. But some things I am going to stop you from doing because I did it. Yeah. And I feel like in so we're the same age. We're both 32. Yep. So in today's age, nigga, your birthday is in December and mine is in October.
Go ahead, man.
Anyway, smarter than you too. Well, not smarter, intelligent. I'm more intelligent than you. Anyway, go ahead. But you made me lose my train of thought. But no, so like I was saying, it's a matter of putting in place those things where it's like, okay, I want you to do this. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do, X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to support you regardless. As long as you commit to it. Even at this young age. Yeah. Because how old is Asher?
What, man? He is 21, 22 months.
Okay. Yeah. And Javen is 4. So even at those young ages, it's like, I'm not going to push you into these things. I'm going to let you get into these things. Because I would love if he was fascinated with Star Wars and anime and all that stuff like me. But right now, that's not where he's at. So I'm not going to force the stuff on him.
He in Paw Patrol.
Yeah, he in Paw Patrol. Yeah, he in Rubble and Crew. Like, I will say this much. I am a proud dad when I found out he's fascinated with Sonic and Knuckles. So
there we go.
Pulled on heartstrings a little bit. Hey. So I think that's where that's where those little tidbits come into play at, like young, because you can't really judge it now because they are so young. But over time, as they grow up, you can start to judge it more and start to add more things into it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it on the basis. On the basis of it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I just remember when me and Andrea first got married. Like, so I spoke Andrea into existence, and what I mean by that is I prayed for my wife.
Okay.
You know, I remember I was in college, and I was just always on that tip where I didn't want to just be randomly hooking up with people. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is college.
It is college, but I was always just that type of person where, you know what, I want that relationship. Like
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
And so I remember I prayed for that with such intent. And when I got it, of course I was happy.
Yeah.
And the same thing went with wanting to be a dad. Because, man, I mean, I was filled with so much joy when you became a dad. When
I was scared as hell.
I know you were.
I was scared as hell.
But man, I was so happy for you because you were going to be able to experience something that I really wanted.
Yeah.
And you know, when we finally got around to, you know, having, and we had Avery, which unfortunately that, you know, we lost Avery, that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day.
Yeah.
But, you know, with Asher being here, dude, like, I take being his dad so serious. Even though there's times where he pisses me off. But you know, it's crazy because I just remember, like, when I never thought that my love could extend beyond what I had for Andrea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when I saw that boy and he's in the picture, I'm like,
oh, it changes.
I'm like, dang, like,
oh, it changes.
Like, bro,
oh, it changes.
It changed. I was like, dang, I didn't know I had this love inside of me.
It changes, and you don't know when it's going to hit you that the change has happened.
Yeah.
Because what they don't tell you is that it doesn't hit you right in the hospital.
No.
It doesn't hit you. So it doesn't hit you when you find out that you're pregnant. You find out that your wife is pregnant. It doesn't hit you when you're going to all the appointments. And
so when did it hit you?
So for me, it didn't hit until we brought him home. And this one particular day, Kenya is up and she's like, hey, can you feed him? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'll feed him.
Disaster.
Like, I'll take the bottle. So she gives me the bottle. I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm holding him. Mm-hmm. I'm holding him, and because I'm right-handed, I'm holding him, so I'm feeding him this way. And as I'm feeding him, I look down, and at the same time, like, he's going to work on the bottle. So I'm not paying that much attention, but I look down, and it's like, oh, hell. Like, I should have looked down. It's like, oh, hell. I'm like, oh, God. And I just started crying. It's like just tears just started coming down. And she comes and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I have a son. I was like, oh, God, man. So, but I will say also in that very moment, that's when I became scared.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I say I became scared is because not even the fact that I loved something that much, it was the fact that I am now responsible.
Oh, yeah.
I am now responsible for him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, period. Until I leave this earth, I am responsible for him. And that's why I say, and I guess this kind of segues into the other portion of this. You never stop being a parent.
Oh, facts.
Like, from the day that child comes into your life, and we're speaking on fatherhood, you never stop being a dad.
Yeah.
If you are a true dad / father.
Yes.
Yeah, you got sperm donors out there and sperm donors that go to the sperm banks, but you also got sperm donors who, make a baby and then they're gone. I'm talking about that dad where you and the mom are together, you and the mom are not together. Stepdad, you are there until you die for that child or young adult. Because you can be 80 years old. Mm-hmm. And if your son or daughter comes to you like, Dad, I need to talk to you, such and such happened. You're going to get your old rickety self up and try to go fix that issue.
Oh, wrinkles and all.
You're not going to be like, oh, you're grown now. You handle it on your own. No. And I think that is what makes me comfortable in knowing that, okay, I'm like he said, he's 4 now. So I'm like, okay, there's still going to be things that are going to go on. But it's like, okay, I'm good with you. Like, we're good up until this point. Yeah. Like, we are good. Good. And that's what has helped me, like, do more for him, be more involved. Because in the time that we live in now, in this technological age, like, you can easily become that, like, body parent, but your mind is not there.
Oh, facts.
Because it's so easy for you to give your child a tablet.
Here, take this.
It's so easy for you to give them the tablet. It's so easy for you to give them the phone. It's so easy for you to give them this, that, and the third. But growing up, like, we grew up with technology. Yeah. We grew up as it progressed, but not like now. So it was still easier for us. It was so easier for our parents to be more involved now. Yeah. Whereas you have parents now where, like I said, it's easier for them to just hand the child those things. Like you go to a restaurant, child is sitting there with a tablet. Mom is sitting there with her phone. Dad is sitting there with his phone. Siblings or cousins or whoever
guilty of it.
Is sitting there with their phones. Like, everybody is sitting at the table. But nobody is talking. Nobody is, coloring with the child or doing any of those things. And it's the same way with my son. I had to catch myself because, like, at one point we would come home, like, oh, he got his tablet. Okay, I'm about to sit down. Yeah. But then I had to catch myself quick, and he was like, no, get up. We about to go outside. We about to go. What are we about to do? I don't know. We're going to catch crickets or something. We're finna do something. Yeah. We're finna do something where your mama is going to be like, why did y'all do that? Yeah. Like, why? And I think that is what has caused me to, like, step back and to be like, okay, I'm about to go, even though I'm 32, I'm like, okay, I'm about to go back to being that old school parent. Yeah. Like, we about to be outside today.
So for me, just to answer the question that you answered. So for me, it hit me that I was a father when. So I mean, you know how Asher's whole story. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, my son has a pacemaker. He was born with a congenital heart defect, had a complete heart block, has a pacemaker.
Yeah, just look that up. Don't try to. Yeah, just look it up. Don't try to. Like,
only reason I know those words is because it was just beat into me. And I vividly remember because Andrew was still recovering from her C-section, so she couldn't walk around. I was pushing Andrea in on the wheelchair in the hospital, and Asher just got done with his surgery. But because he was a little bit swollen, they couldn't close him. Yeah. So they still had him open, but they had it was like this kind of blue, like masking tape where you couldn't see his heart and all that stuff. And,
the surgical tape.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we go into the room, and I just see him there, and they have him paralyzed. Mm-hmm. So that he couldn't mess with anything. But they have the wires and all that stuff just hanging out of him.
Was he awake?
No.
He was still asleep.
He was still asleep.
Good. Okay.
And bro, like, I broke down. I had to go.
Because there was nothing that you could do?
Nothing I could do.
Absolutely.
I had to literally go in the corner, in the room, and I just cried. Yeah. People coming in and asking me, like, what's going, like, are you okay?
Like, I can't do anything.
I was like, I can't do anything.
Nothing I can do at this point.
And I have to literally stand here, accept that I can't do anything.
And watch.
And have somebody talk to me about what's going on.
Absolutely.
I was like, Andrea, you got to handle this because I can't do it right now. And like I said, that was like the real moment. Outside of, me holding him for the first time. Okay, that's a blessing. Don't get it twisted.
But your situation was different because you had to watch him go through a significant life-threatening surgery.
Bro.
So it's gonna hit you differently. It's gonna hit you worse because you can't do anything. You can't do nothing at this point. Like, I'm paralyzed essentially.
Yeah. At that point, it was just in God's hands, and thankfully the father, sought that Asher would be fully recovered. Now you don't even think the boy has a pacemaker the way he's acting.
You really don't. Yeah, jumping off sofas and stuff.
And to kind of go back to what you were saying, like, we go outside, and this past weekend we were playing with our neighbors. My neighbor, who's a prior service veteran, they have 4 kids, and we were just outside playing Foursquare for a couple hours, and Asher's just giddy, just running around. And when we used to come back inside, and your mom or my mom would be like, "Boy, you just smell like outside."
You just smell like
I never really knew what that meant
it's a difference,
until
it's a difference.
I brought Asher in, and I'm like, dang, like, you need a bath.
Did you bring the whole outside in the house?
You brought the whole outside in with you. You never smelled like this before.
Go take a bath.
Yeah. And so, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm looking forward to what fatherhood is really what more it's gonna bring, and what changes that brings about in me, because like I said, the boy is almost 2 years old, and I've learned more about myself.
Oh yeah.
In this small span of time that he's been here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned patience.
Oh yes.
I've learned to
absolutely
properly communicate with my spouse.
Yes.
Because
that's a big part of
it. That's a big part of it.
That's a big part of it. You have to learn. You have to learn those things. And being a father and having a son, which we both do, which is great, you have to learn how to deal with a boy.
Yes.
Versus having to deal with a little girl. Because there are steps, there are the same steps for dealing with both to a certain degree.
Yes.
With a little girl, you'll be able to accept more of the whining, the crying.
I do it with my niece all the time.
And this, that, and the third. With a boy, and people will be like, "Oh, you're being too hard on him." No,
my fuse is shorter.
With a boy, you have to be more strict with that. Like my son right now, I'm like, you're not finna go backwards, son.
Yeah.
Like, you're not finna get all the way up until you're 4, wanting to be independent, and all of a sudden you want to go back to baby talk and whine and like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Or not keeping up with your stuff and this, that, and the third. See, if I had a daughter, I would put more up with that. Oh, it's this daddy's little girl. Daddy's gonna go find it for you.
Or pumpkin, like my dad like to say.
I'm gonna go find it for you.
Yeah.
But with my son, immediately first thing come out of my mouth, son, that's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to keep up with your toys. Well, Dad, I don't know where my fidget spinner's at. It's your responsibility, not mine.
And there's instances where I have to tell. Oh no, I'm not gonna say that. Because that would be incorrect. I am highly appreciative and thankful that Andrea, she has that space for me to be the dad. For me to do what I need to do.
You have to, because mamas want to save their boys. And mamas want to save they boys.
And there's just been times where it's like, Andrea, don't worry, I got this. Mm-hmm. Prime example, we're going through the phase right now.
Is it the no phase?
Oh. Don't even get me started on the no phase.
It's the no phase.
But we're going through this phase right now where we're trying to really break him into sleeping in his crib the whole time.
The whole night.
And
I'm going to tell you a secret to that.
Me and Andrea, we were having our conversation about it last night. And she was like, "Wow, I know it's going to be hard because when he starts crying, it brings back all those emotions when I first had him and me thinking about him being in the NICU all by himself." And I told her, I said, "Andrea, this is what you need to do. You go in our room, close the door, turn up the TV."
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, went through that. As a matter of fact, went back through it last night. It's like, buddy, like, bruh, like at that point, Abbott out like, bruh, at that point, it went from son to bruh. Let me tell you something.
He went from son to bruh.
What you not about to do is lay in here and cry. Not finna do that. So what we did was to get him in there. Went in there, started crying. I don't know. I guess both of us were on the same streamline at this point because it was like, you know what? Well, the same frequency was like, you know what? You just gonna have to cry yourself to sleep tonight, buddy. You gonna cry yourself until you get a headache, and at some point you gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna lay on down and deal with this.
He ain't coming
because as a dad, like even with him being my son, I still wanted to go in there and get him, but I was no, because if I give him an inch, he gonna take a mile.
He gonna take it.
He is gonna run with it. So I was like, no. So we were in the apartment when we broke him into sleeping in his crib. And you know, the apartment, it's closer. Like his bed, so it was his bedroom, living room, our bedroom. So it was a lot closer. So I said, you know what? I gotta find something on TV. I need to find like a marathon. I need to find something. So I ended up finding the show that helped me. I kid you not. The show that helped me deal with this was River Monsters. Shout out to River Monsters. River Monsters helped me deal with my son crying in his crib. Because I'm watching this like one episode. I'm like, dang, the fish. I'm like, dang, bro, they really catching fish in the river that look like this. And it took me out of it until like I was like, oh,
bro,
he quiet in there now.
I've been finding so many interesting shows trying to put this fool down to sleep.
Cause you have to leave. Did y'all get him a nightlight? Does he have a nightlight?
So he has a sound machine that has like a little nightlight.
Has a nightlight on. Yeah. So the nightlight thing is good, but it's gonna take time. But you cannot break it because people don't give children enough credit.
They smart.
He will know. Okay, I cried. He may not know the exact minutes or whatever, but he's like, okay, I cried so much around this time.
Somebody gonna come,
and they came in here. Once he bypasses that time, it might get a little louder. That crying is gonna turn into screaming, and then it's gonna turn into yelling, and then it's gonna go back to crying. But you make it through that cycle, it's like, okay, I'm good. Bro. And of course, you got to do it the next night, and the next night, and the next night, and the next night. Until finally he realizes, like,
it's a wrap.
They ain't coming back in here. And that's when you, as a father, that's when you feel the most happy because
he's learning.
And y'all gonna be upset with me on this one, but you feel the most happy because you like.
I got my bed back, people.
It's like, I got my bed back.
That's the most important thing.
I got my wife back.
Thank you.
We can just fall asleep in the bed, whereas I got to sleep all on the edge. And
I ain't even talking about us having relations. I'm talking about
his foot right here and all this other stuff. It's like, I got my bed back. Like, I can go back to sleeping.
Ain't got to worry about rolling. Yeah.
I can go back to sleeping the way I can go back to sleeping, birthday suit sleeping. Because I'm hot natured. I hate sleeping with clothes on, unless I like fall asleep on the sofa. Maybe that's TMI, but oh well. But yeah, you go back to getting your bed back. And I mean, yeah, you're naturally proud that he's in his bed, but you're like, I'm happy I got my bed back.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Dads, we know y'all are happy that y'all got your bed back.
I love my bed.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's different because like you grow up and you're like, oh, I want to be a dad. Like I want to be a dad. I want to be a dad.
But bro, we just don't know what all comes.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's just like
because the positive side to that is what all we've said. The negative side to that is, and I'm only gonna speak on this once. The negative side to that is, if your son fail,
reflection of me.
That's your fault.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
Even if he becomes 35 and he turns into a bum, people gonna still look at you and be like, "Oh, well, you should have done, or you could have done, or did you, baby?" And it's like, no, I raised him right. Even at 35, he decided, okay, he wanted to turn into a bum. They gonna come back at you, or like my son, they gonna come back and look at me. Yeah, and now I gotta go snatch a knot in you because everybody looking at me sideways at 35, and I'm not finna whoop you. We finna bare knuckle brawl, buddy.
Ish together.
You about to get the hands,
man. Part of me is like, part of me is kind of, I don't want to say scared.
I said.
Well, yeah, no. I don't have fear, but part of me is scared.
It's a natural thing.
But, dude, we're, like you said, we're 32. Times are so different from how it was when we were coming up. Because, I mean, and I'm not even just talking about technology, right? I'm just talking about like the fact that we have the responsibility of raising black boys into men.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't care what anybody says. If you can disagree with me all you want on the other end of this camera, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? It is. Like, I've always been taught that I have to do extra just to be on the same level. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's proof.
It's proof.
Like, that's fact. Researchers have proved it. Studies have proved it. That is a fact.
And what I don't want to do is... So I was talking to Andrew about this. What I don't want is for Asher to, when he grows up and he is interacted or he's encountered with some sort of adversity, that his first thing is to say, "Oh, it's because I'm black."
No,
my thing is like,
it's because you didn't prepare.
It's because you didn't prepare, or someone was just better than you.
Yeah,
you know
which is a possible, which could very well be a possibility.
It's a very well possibility.
It could be it's definitely a possibility.
But I've always been raised, and I thank my dad for raising me this way because it always lit a fire in me. Like when it came to me being in the Army, when it came to me, going to West Point,
there's extra that you have to do.
I always felt like, you know what, when other people are off sleeping, off lollygagging, off partying, that's time for me to get ahead. That's time for me to put work in to set myself apart.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to instill
because
in him.
You want to have that proof first to say, okay, well, they were better than me. Why?
Yeah.
Their resume, my resume. And I use the word resume loosely because it could be job related, it could be sports related, it could be anything.
Facts.
Their resume pinned up against mine. What set them apart from me? And if you cannot give me a concrete black and white answer, quantifiable answer, then I have no choice but to draw the conclusion that it was because of my skin color.
Yeah.
And like I said, there have been several instances where it has been proven it was because of a skin color. But no, absolutely. You don't want them to go around using that because
I don't want him to be like the whole woe is me playing the victim.
It becomes a crutch, and that's part of the issue. And I know this is kind of a segue away from the main topic, but we'll get back to it. That's part of the issue with today is that everybody wants to use. All of us want, not all of us, but a significant amount of us, when we encounter adversity, we want to use that as a crutch, like a reason. Yeah. But did you study for the test? Fact. Did you study for the job? Fact. Did you take do you have the skill set to do said job? Yeah. I don't care about how many years you've been here. Do you have the skill set? In the amount of years that you've been here, do you have the skill set to do said job? Yeah. Yes or no? If the answer is no, then don't come to me talking about it's because I'm black. Yeah. Okay, the person that's interviewing you, or the person that has the other position right beside you, they're black. Is black. Just like, and that's where I feel like it is being overused. Yeah. And I'll use this as an example. Speaking of raising black sons, especially with encountering the police, you need to always conduct yourself in a manner that doesn't allow them to make an assumption about you. Yeah. And if you do so, and if they still come up to you, okay, now you have a reason to make, okay, well, why did you come up to me? Because I wasn't conducting myself in any type of negative way. Yeah. I agree with that. That's what, and on that note, that it sets you apart from, like you said, it sets you apart from the stereotypical young black male. And now you have ammunition in your back pocket to be like, okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I had one negative encounter with the police, and it was with this man here. I'll leave it at that. Well, go ahead. You were saying?
You know what? Okay, let's talk about that encounter. Let's discuss that encounter.
I'm sorry, I just had to say it.
Let's discuss that encounter. Since he wants to discuss it, we will discuss that particular encounter.
Please, because
what? Spring break 2012?
Yeah, because it was right before I met Andrew. I had to get the heathen out of me.
So spring break 2012, we were coming back from South Padre.
Beautiful island. If you haven't been, you need to go.
So we were coming back. So I'm going to speak to him. We were coming back from South Padre. He was passed out in the passenger seat, asleep.
It was a week of debauchery, people.
And we were on the way back, coming through a small town. I was not speeding. As we're coming through the town, a cop, it's spring break week, so they are out. Was your windows tinted at that point? I don't think your windows was tinted on the Mustang. Anyway, so windows tinted, windows not tinted. Anyway, he's on the side. He sees us. He turns around. Mind you, literally, we had been driving for a couple hours at that point? Yeah. So we've been driving for a few hours at that particular point. Coming through a small town, there's not many places to stop.
It was a border town.
To use the restroom. And I'm like, I gotta pee. So he's literally following us. No lights on. Nothing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm finna pull over to. It was like a gas station that was maybe like a half a mile up. I see it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull into the gas. So I get in the far right lane to get ready to turn into the gas station. As I'm getting ready to turn into the gas station, he like whips the lights on and zooms up right behind us, and he's like, whoop, whoop, pull the car over. I'm like, okay. He gets out. Comes around to the driver window. I let down the window, and he's like, didn't ask for my driver's license, didn't ask for registration.
What you doing in my town or something like that. That's what I remember.
What are y'all doing in my town?
We going back home.
Excuse my language, bro. What the hell you mean your town? This is what I'm saying in my head.
Yeah, because he ain't say that.
Not yet. I ain't got smart with him yet.
Oh, man.
He was like, what are y'all doing in my town? Like, we're coming back from spring break. He was like, what schools do y'all go to? I'm like, well, like, why am I? I'm like, well, why does that matter? What school we go to? He was like, no, I want to know what schools you boys go to. Okay, first of all, I'm not your boy. Neither one of us are your boys. I said, well, at the time I was at Houston Community College, HCC, and he was in West Point.
That ain't get me nowhere when he said West Point. I thought I was going to do something.
So he's like, okay. Then he looks, he sees a McDonald's cup that's like
had orange juice in it.
We had got it before. Yeah, we had got it before we left.
What's in that cup?
He's like, what's in the cup? All right, bro, you want to play games? And this is where my smart mouth steps in.
I was like, bro, just stop.
I'm like, I pick up the cup and I'm like, orange juice, you want some?
Oh,
get out of the car. Like, hell.
I'm sitting here halfway awake.
He's like halfway away. And didn't you start recording or something? I think you like put your phone like on.
Yeah,
I think you started recording. And like I get out and he's like, sir, I'm about to search the vehicle. I'm like, well, you like, there's no indication to allow you to make you want to do a search. He's like, I'm gonna search the vehicle. You know what, bro? Go ahead.
I thought he said he smelled weed.
Like, bro, I ain't got nothing to hide. Like, please, by all means, search the vehicle. Search the vehicle, nothing, doesn't find anything. And he's like, here's your ticket. Like, you were speeding.
I don't remember if we paid that ticket.
I'm like, what? We weren't even. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be quiet this time. Like, thank you, sir. Make sure you be back down here for court.
Yeah, hell no.
Nigga, please. I'm not coming back down here, bro. I went online. I think that ticket was like $120, bro. I paid that ticket, bro. I'm not coming back down here at all. So that's how that happened. For future references, tell your sons, daughters, Be
respectful. Don't be a smart ass.
Don't be a smart ass. But in my defense, don't ask what's in this cup. Like, you see what's in, like, it's just like 9:00 in the morning.
Fatherhood.
Fatherhood 101. Like, yeah. But right.
So let's bring it back full circle. Yeah, at the end of the day, clearly, as you can see from us, being fathers is one of the things. It's just outside of being husbands, being fathers is paramount because
absolutely
we are just in charge of cultivating and helping this little person grow and find out who they are, and just provide that unconditional love. So, I mean, I think this is a great conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Please let us know what y'all think about fatherhood. When was that time when
yes,
it hit you that
yes,
like, damn, I'm a dad.
Yes, you
let
can
us
put
know
it down in the comments. Let us know, and there is no judging over here at Limitless Podcast. That is partly why we called it Limitless, because we have zero limits to discussing said topics, giving our opinions on said things, and just allowing it to be a safe space for you to say what you feel. Zero limits over here.
Yeah. So, hey, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, but like, share, subscribe, let people know about us, and look forward to seeing y'all the next time around. All right.
And on that note,
we out.